13th of September in the year of our Lord 2020. Season 2, Episode 20. 67 times this face and or this voice has welcomed you to the Cheap Popcast. Live from Vocal Studios in North Dallas / Addison, Texas. We are so excited to be here. Did I get the date right? I said the 13th, right?
It is correct.
Okay, for some reason I thought I said the 20th, but it's the 20th episode of the season. That's where I got screwed up. Welcome. We are your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Cheap Popcast. And for the second time in the history of Sooner or Gator Productions, a pay-per-view perfect game has been pitched, which is why this is in front of this guy. Every match right, every finish right. If you're only gonna win twice a year, let them both be big ones. This one in the Rumble. There you go. Let's go around the dais. Next to me is the official fact checker of Sooner or Gator Productions, and I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. You may know him as Ig Bunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm gonna call him Don Ford. Hey, man!
Well, it's been 3 weeks
since you were in studio?
Yeah, exactly. Then 2 weeks ago, I was at home. And then doing the thing with Ellie in here.
Mm-hmm. In that very chair.
Yeah, exactly. And then last week we were off. I had the Passover. It was great. And I'm wearing my awesome new shirt. He's better than all of us, and we all know
Is that
it.
your third one?
No, it's the second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was awesome news. I thought there was another one.
But he's better than all of us, and we all know it.
Well, he knows it.
We all know it.
And rounding out the dais is my co-host. And a man who I also feel like I haven't seen forever, but I've seen him more recently than I've seen Don. Back from his trip to Las Vegas, Nevada, and we're going to talk about that more on the Clubhouse, so stay tuned for that after this show. He is Alex. Welcome home, sir.
Well, we are going to have a lot of fun with that, and let me also welcome you into the Perfect Dome.
You're the only other person that's done it.
Yeah, welcome. It was getting lonely at the top.
Every match, every finish. So if I'm only going to have 2 wins this year, both Rumbles and a perfect game in the same calendar year, I will take it.
Absolutely. I may wind up finishing with the most wins just based on a lack of average or lack of options with the pre-tape.
I just don't know that we can even count Grand Champion this year because we went 5 months without a live pay-per-view. So, but let's get into it. If you've been wondering where the Juan Chena is.
Where is he?
I can tell you.
Where is the Juan Chena?
He will be headed to TBS here very soon, as TBS is bringing back the classic, with a question mark, game show Wipeout.
It had its own video game.
He will be hosting and executive producing.
Well, but you noticed the double subtlety to that, correct?
That it's on TBS.
So that's number one.
Okay.
Because the T stands for Turner.
Right.
But what did USA just kick off with a separate superstar as...
I like that show. Cannonball. I love Cannonball with the Miz.
But what I'm saying is Cannonball is a direct ripoff of Wipeout.
Oh, absolutely. But you'll also have Camille Kostek. She is a model and at one point, if not now, the lady friend of one Rob Gronkowski.
Is it Camille or Camilla?
I saw Camille online. And Nicole Byer, who you might know from the Netflix show Nailed It. I like her as a person. I don't like her delivery style. Because everything is like this! I'm like, Ethel Merman died like 20 years ago. Let's tap the brake on that. But I like her as a human. I've seen her in interviews and stuff, and she's a great human. I just don't like when she's doing the thing.
So they want somebody that they can make sure they see, since the co-host will not be seen.
And what is Wipeout? What's the base of that game show?
It's basically obstacle courses where you constantly fall into water.
Wait,
okay.
I have one for him.
Okay.
Do you remember Most Extreme Elimination Challenge that was on Spike?
No.
The Japanese show.
Which is now available on Amazon. Thank you very much.
No.
So think of an obstacle course designed to put you through punishment.
Okay.
But not in the Spartan race kind of way.
Okay.
More of the, you're about to get a lot of shaving cream in places you didn't know you had places.
Okay. Not like the military army obstacle course, but something where you're going to get wet. You're
more
gonna
of
get
the funny ha-ha.
Was it, what's that one with the green on Nickelodeon? Or
Double Dare.
Double Dare. If they had Double Dare.
Very much an adult version of Double Dare is a good way to play
Double Dare obstacle course. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
The last act of Double Dare.
Correct.
By the way, shout out to the Exxon off the street on their Coca-Cola Freestyle. I was able to get Sprite Zero Limonade. I'm very excited because they don't put that in the bottles anymore.
Really?
Couldn't find it since last summer.
Wonder if that's a pandemic thing, though.
On some sadder news, after years and years and years and years with the company. Gerald Brisco, no longer a WWE employee officially.
Yep.
But for a guy that's been mostly a comedy act when he's appeared on screen, that was a very classy statement he made. It's I'm okay with this, and I really liked Otis's reply.
What did Otis say?
It was basically, I am and will always be a Brisco boy. I love you so much.
Yeah. But he's not the only one.
No,
but he's the longest tenured employee.
I know,
the big
but
shock.
you're talking what? 60 employees were furloughed or were let go
from the office side.
Right, but what I'm saying
No,
is
this is let go.
Let go.
Yeah,
These
that's
are
what I'm saying.
no longer
Yeah.
furloughed. No longer, not even coming back.
They're gone. You're
Yes.
and you know what? I'm calling this WWE. I'm going to give us a little rant. Give me 1 minute on this little rant or less.
Sure.
The product is beginning to be horrible.
Not disagreeing.
The Terrence Malick.
Although I wouldn't use the word beginning, but that's okay.
That's where I would disagree.
Go ahead,
but
Tommy.
everything
Go
else-
ahead.
Some of these matches in the lake that Terrence Malick probably directed with the storyline from Terrence Malick. I'm looking at this companies now like Blockbuster. They are not adapting. And look what happened to Blockbuster because they never adapted. They are not adapting to this pandemic. AEW is adapting. But trying to do this thing with this arena now, with this Thunderdome and all of that, it's not working with fans with 1,000 screens behind them. And the fans now, well, really, we're going to put fans up there. Oh, really? Fans could put up pictures of Benoit? Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
Well,
it's coming to bite them all in the rear. They are not adjusting this pandemic. 60 people have now lost their jobs. They could be doing stuff, some kind of live event somewhere like AEW is, where some people will probably still have a job. They're not adapting. They're Blockbuster now. Go ahead.
I'm looking to support your argument here. Did you see the other part of the deal showing how far out of touch Vince is this week?
No, I didn't.
There is now a mandate in the company
that
by October 3rd, if you work for WWE, originally the mandate was you cannot be on Cameo and you cannot be on Twitch.
Good luck.
Everybody rebelled, so now Vince is saying as of October 3rd, you can have those things, but you have to use your real name. You can't use... Like Lana, Lana can't be Lana on Twitch.
However, there is a wrinkle to that. If their real name is used in any storyline, they can't use it. They'll have to figure out a separate pseudonym.
Exactly.
Oh no, no. They have every right to go on Twitch in their own name. They cannot.
Right, but if they're using their real name in the company owns part of that, and they can't.
Yeah, they can. That's where they'll get sued. Yeah, you're gonna tell me I can't use my own name?
If you are used by your own name, you're under contract that way. They own the brand.
Yep.
But they can't own your own name though. That's the
it's part of the contract.
If it's in your contract that way, they can.
And that's
if I know Vince even remotely, that's a thing.
And then you're going to talk major lawsuits now, and this thing.
There will not be lawsuits because there is a disclaimer within the contracts that essentially says that as an independent contractor, using those names as WWE is your primary employment.
Yep.
But you're still independent.
Wait, let me finish.
Okay.
As your primary employment, they have the right of refusal on it. So that's where there's already the addendum in there. Now, granted, this was more along the lines of making sure people weren't booked for kids' birthday parties and places or different things like that. But now in the modern form, it's Cameo and Twitch. So there already has been for decades the addendum in there that they can have a right of refusal. Now, what they will have in that is WWE would have to supplement what would be in that same kind of era or area. So what they would just say to them is, okay, show up. You're going to stand outside of the ring.
Okay.
And you're still going to get the same check.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this thing is just getting pathetic, and they are not adapting. And you know what? I find it funny what some of those fans are doing, putting Benoit's picture up in the crowd. That is funny.
I do not.
I can't get down with that because there's a lot of other things that have been put up in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's what they get for trying to not even think about that.
I actually am okay with the Thunderdome compared to what it was.
I'd rather have the hockey rink. I'm sorry.
I
see the pluses to both of them.
True.
But if you made me choose, I prefer Thunderdome, if nothing else, from a visual standpoint because of the use of the bigger entrances and then putting the dome over it so you have even more to work with. The hockey rink idea, that's an NXT. Like that should have always just been NXT.
Because it is a smaller feel. At least it's in an arena, which we're coming up on the end of that contract.
And the thing is, with the AEW, they're doing it right. And
Well, let's get to AEW before we talk about it.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
but
just
I'm
start
saying-
off the week that was in our sport. We're going to start with Raw. Ivar now out injured.
And they're saying it might be a long time.
God bless you, War Machine. I don't care what you call them. They'll always be War Machine.
Oh, yeah. How long do they think, though?
They haven't said yet.
They're getting a second opinion right now. They're saying it could be upwards of a year.
I think I want to defer to you on the exact injury because the thing I saw might have been a typo.
Are you referring to the cervical injury in the back?
Yes. Okay. I want to make sure that was what it really was supposed to be, not a typo.
It is a spinal injury. So right now they're looking at trying to, because you can't do anything in that regard. You have to rest, you have to ice, you have to keep it as stable as possible. They originally thought it was a stinger, which is something that could go badly, could be a couple of weeks to just rest up. But now they're worried that there might be some further damage in there. So they're hoping rest and ice will alleviate the swelling and allow him to come back sooner. But they're also looking at a second opinion so that they're not delaying any inevitable or potentially inevitable surgery. Now, the one who I kind of feel bad for in this is they're both really talented guys. And the one-liner I saw in that is, I really hope Eric's ready to be a jobber on Raw Underground for the next year. And it's like, oh.
But let's get to the funniest story of the week, shall we?
Okay.
Which I actually put on the run sheet within 10 seconds of Alex putting it on our social media.
I was wondering if that was
so
what
I
you
knew
were
we were
referring
on
to.
the same page. So, Don, do you remember, God, what was it, 6 months ago maybe?
It was
right-
the Rumble.
It was at the Rumble where you had the R-Truth Lesnar segment.
Yeah.
That was a bet. We found out this week. Heyman had a bet with upper management, which included Vince,
Yep.
that R-Truth could not make. They said that the bet was that R-Truth could not make Lesnar laugh.
Oh,
Okay.
Brock's such a professional. He won't break on camera.
And then right up before, Heyman went to R-Truth, and R-Truth was like, I don't know what I'm going to say.
Had no promo or
Had
anything.
no promo set.
Yeah.
And I don't think he told him about the bet, but he was like, just go
No,
out.
he did.
Okay.
So, but at the same time, R-Truth went to Heyman to try and get some input on what he should be saying in a time like this, because we know, if nothing else, Heyman is arguably one of the greatest promos of all time. And knowing how to cut a promo for the situation and being able to continue a story or tell a story even in a microcosm. So he literally went to Paul, said, I don't have a promo ready. I don't have any bullet points or anything. I don't know what to say. And Heyman basically said, look, you're in this position because we know you're good. But we also have a bet going on backstage. So you go be you.
And he broke Lesnar.
Yeah, well, but the funny part to me on that one was R-Truth was like, should I go talk to Brock just to make sure he's okay?
And Heyman was like, no,
absolutely not.
Do not. So
and he used a phrase that would make me shudder, because he told R-Truth, it'll be fine. And I'm thinking,
which is your least favorite word in the English language.
and if anybody told me that I was going to be busting Brock Lesnar and he would be fine, I would ask for my check and feign an injury. I'm just saying.
and a signed release, if you will.
I'd come out in bubble wrap.
Right
That's
before
really
we went on air, we find out that Randy Orton has officially unveiled his line of clothing called Slither, SLTHR. There are two T-shirts, a hoodie, a sleeved hoodie, and a sleeveless hoodie, and they all look awesome. They look amazing. I think I might. Let me see if I still have it up here.
Do they have does it look like a tattoo sleeve on
Here you go, Don. I'll show it to you.
Oh, that's good. That's cool.
Let me look at. So this is what the T-shirt looks like.
Okay.
With Randy, and it says since 1980, Slither, strike in style, USA, RKO, St. Louis, Missouri. And then there's also a green. Oh, there's 4 different T-shirts. Mm-hmm. And then there's the sleeved hoodie.
They should have tattoo sleeves on the arms.
And then the sleeveless one has the strike in
sleeves.
style. And it says Slither on the hood. They look great.
They do. It's not a unique design, but it works well, especially for him.
Oh, absolutely. So, as we know, Misty will be buying all of them. So,
Probably.
let's get into the show. And remember, kids, 2 weeks from tonight, it's now Clash of the Champions Gold Rush.
Gold Rush? Gold Rush.
Moving on.
Can't Discovery sue on that because they got the show Gold Rush?
No, because it's a subtitle, not the main title.
Okay.
And
there's also the
still
aspect that they
think-
do specify on shows.
I still think that the concept of this is wrong. It is a clash of the champions, so everything should be champion versus champion because that is a clash of the champions.
So back when the original Clash of the Champions came
No,
out,
that was Clash of Champions.
Clash.
Not the Clash of the Champions. Back in the
Okay.
day, it was just Clash of Champions.
Okay. All
And
right.
plus,
so,
you didn't have separate brands back then because there wasn't an NWO yet.
so what do you think they would put Asuka versus Bailey?
They should, but they won't.
Or
That's because that's what they do with Survivor Series, which has always been the most overrated pay-per-view.
Which I'm like, the next one you have is okay.
okay.
Drew McIntyre. You guys know I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
As we are.
If one's jaw is fractured, I'm just saying.
Yeah. If.
His jaw was allegedly fractured.
No,
okay?
the problem is that they said it was a skull fracture and kept changing what it was. Because first they said it was an orbital fracture, and then they said it was an optical fracture, and then you're thinking, that's on the back, so that's different than the punch. And they just kept changing where the fracture was. So now it's
This is like
to borrow the
it's
phrase.
like Marty Feldman's hump in Young Frankenstein. It just keeps moving.
Well, but what it really is you need to go back to earlier this year, end of last year, for 2020 WWE, and Jericho can sum it up. It's a stupid idea from bad
I
creative.
saw somebody put that out the other day.
So if it was actual jaw fracture, wouldn't they have to wire the jaw shut
That's what I'm saying.
and have to drink through a straw for about a month?
Indeed.
Kind of wish we had our board right now.
And welcome to the unnecessary Cedric Alexander turn.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
This doesn't make it to Survivor Series. They turn on him quickly. This will
You
be
mean him
we're
going
gonna-
to the
the whatever they go the
I think
hurt
they're-
business.
her business?
I think they're more likely to turn on Bobby Lashley for being the bigger.
So I want to talk about iconic versus iconic for a minute. Well, you know what I would really love to happen?
What's that?
Match ends, they shake hands or whatever. Cut to the desk.
Okay.
That's when they act like we're moving on, and that's when the turn happens. And it's, okay, fans, that was a great match. Oh my God, go to the ring.
Yeah. But that would require somebody who knows how to be a decent producer.
That would be
or
fun.
Director.
I would enjoy that very much.
But you're making a huge assumption. They already don't know how to put on a good show. Now you want to add a wrinkle of something new.
And
I'm saying some of these camera angles where it's angle after angle for 3 seconds.
The Pritchard zoom.
Oh, where it's changing angle after angle after angle.
But that's how you hide the spots in high definition. They've been doing that ever since they went HD.
That's
That's the only way you can hide most of the spots.
The
in
problem
HD.
is it's overused.
Yeah.
What Don's getting, it's overused. You
I agree.
totally
Big time.
understand that you have to do that to
Sometimes
sell
you
some of the
have-
stuff, but
Keith Lee stopping the RKO was pretty funny.
that was the only real highlight for me in the entire show.
And by the way, that's one of your matches tomorrow night. Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre in a cage.
which I find very bizarre.
I'm on board with it. I think he's still going to put on a great match. Let's see here. The voice of Retribution sounded kind of familiar, but I couldn't place it.
There was two voices, and
The
it
first
was
voice
toned
was
down. You know who it was.
The second one, I'm pretty sure, because that dude was really tall.
Yeah.
Maybe Dijakovian tall.
When you slow down it, or when you slow it down to make it,
wiki.
yeah, to make it more understandable, definitely a Dijak.
The first one, though, I
The
couldn't.
first one was Mercedes Martinez.
I'd be okay with that.
So
Because they're misusing her in NXT anyway.
Well, that's when we get to that, we'll see why that's no longer a thing. But for right now, what you have is Dijakovic. I'm going to skip this one because reasons. Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, and going back to Mojo Rawley.
You know what? The Mia Yim thing would be interesting.
Are you talking these people being Retribution?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued by the Mia Yim thing because Keith Lee's on Raw now.
Well, the thing I like about it
Or are they
is she's the
placeholders?
only one that's selling it correctly using social with the, wow, not even getting opportunities in NXT anymore, even though, it's circling back to the thing that I had talked about a couple of weeks ago on the show is all the people that didn't get a fair shake. Let them all come together. I'm cool with that.
This reminds me of Aces and Eights, unfortunately.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, but it's not nearly as bad. Aleister Black doesn't have the eye patch anymore for those of you playing the home game.
Thank God.
Adjust your roster.
But remember,
accordingly.
but Rey Mysterio does.
Well, allegedly.
Well, that's not an eye patch. That's just a cover at this point. Because he has a different injury to sell that's not made up.
Dominic's really trying to win me over. That baseball slide into the Destroyer, you got to admit that was beautifully done.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
I mean, I stood up out of my chair. I was like, what? I had to rewind it. I'm like, what just happened here?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
The problem I have with him is he's got all the talent in the world. He has all the ability. He's had great training. The thing he hasn't had, and it's probably what's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, is getting pushed as the top babyface on a show where he doesn't know how to tell a story.
But if Seth's the one who handpicked him, who am I to say?
But that's whether or not Seth actually handpicked him, or if they're saying, because I believe that the truth in that is that Dominic and Ray picked Seth, knowing that Seth can have a great match with anybody and be able to be that ring leader, no pun intended.
And
Now, question, would he be where he is right now if it wasn't for his dad?
No. 100% no.
Yeah.
No, I think he would be having a great indie career, or he would be doing a phenomenal job.
He's got talent.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
At his age,
Correct.
I think
Yeah.
right now he wouldn't even be in AAA. I would say that he would be crushing it with the Crash, and everybody would say, "Oh, future star, future star."
Yeah.
But he's got talent.
Oh,
but
yeah.
where he is, his being who he is
That
pushes him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's be
but
honest.
the training he has had has been as top notch as top notch.
Oh, yeah,
can
I'll
get.
give you that. Yeah.
Aaliyah makes me feel old
Why is that?
because I remember when she was born. That's Ray's daughter's name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went with
Not the-
Aaliyah NXT.
no, not
you
the-
you
no.
needed to clarify. On that
Aaliyah
one.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
And boy, Murphy took that like a champ.
Murphy is a consummate professional.
Good Lord. There will be 11 matches on AEW Dark this week, so get ready for that. Let me explain
I have
something
questions.
to you. Let me explain something to you, AEW.
Uh-oh.
I work 10 to 7 now. You are not helping. I am consistently a day behind on content because of Dark. Although this week's episode did clock in at just under 50 minutes, so that was nice.
Give him that.
Well,
And-
but there was a reason it was 50
Right,
minutes.
because it was the leftovers from the weekend before, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yep.
And it looks like the Will Hobbs push is beginning.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest notes I had coming out of that pay-per-view
Get there in a minute.
was on Will Hobbs.
We'll get there in a minute.
But yeah, we'll get there when we cover it. But they see something in, and I got a funny feeling because, and I'm going to say this, I like the kid, he does good work, but the gimmick sucks.
You know my prediction on that.
Yes, I know your hope. I don't know if you.
I don't call it a hope, it's a prediction.
Okay, so you're going with prediction. I really feel like he's one of those guys that if they could figure out what to bill him as, so to speak, he'd already be,
But he has willpower.
which is terrible.
Willpower. That's actually a short sketch from DC Talk. Okay. We have NWA news.
Yes, we do.
Primetime Live returns tomorrow night at 9 Eastern if you want to pay for it. There are 4 episodes on the docket right now. They will be $7.99 per episode or $23.99 for the 4-episode run. Tomorrow night will be Camille will take on Heather Moore, and the NWA World Title will be on the line as Nick Aldis takes on Mike Bennett.
The miracle.
Remind me not to buy it.
Hey, Don,
Don't buy it.
don't buy it.
Okay, thank you.
And Thunder Rosa will defend her title versus Ivelisse on Dynamite this week.
Ooh.
How about that?
Well, there was a
Dun, dun, dun!
there was supposedly a text between one Tony Khan and Billy Corgan that said, "How much? How much to get Thunder Rosa as an AEW performer?"
I'm on board with that.
As am
I
I.
endorse
The
this.
more Thunder Rosa we get, the more great women's matches we get.
And we saw her live in person. She was
No,
great. there.
numerous times.
Yep. And Kate, on to Impact. Yes, Don, we have to do
Do
it.
we have to? Oh, yeah.
If you saw Caleb with a K this week, do you realize who that is?
No.
That is your latest suicide.
Oh.
The latest person to be suicide is this guy,
Yep.
and he is. I just lost who he's the. He's the photographer for Tennille Dashwood.
Oh, okay.
That's his bit.
Yeah.
He's the personal photographer for Tennille Dashwood.
Okay, I got this. We weren't here last week, so the Impact the week before. Yes, I haven't bringing it up, and yes, I don't want to, but I will.
We do it for the
When
kids.
Wrestle House came, all the people from Wrestle House magically appeared in the ring.
Yep, at the end of Emergence.
Which is fine. Okay, I can understand that.
I
how,
see what they did.
How did the 10 seconds later all the men were out and it was only the women in the ring? Did they just magically teleport?
No, everybody showed up in the ring.
Well, they were all in the ring, but then 10 seconds later,
because they were all brawling with everybody else. And then it was just the women who were
it
in
was
the
just the
ring.
women. But magically, if you watch
Don,
that,
they're athletes. They can move quickly.
so they could just magically disappear out of the ring and stand there.
You're having. I want. Wait. Before you get there, Rob, you go ahead and tune it up. Give me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You want to take issue with people teleporting from a house on a show called Emergence.
On
And
Impact.
the issue you want to take is that they're then missing from the ring.
Wrestling logic. I'm better than you at that, Tommy Dreamer. Couple of show notes, by the way. I've been saying it for years. EY is Impact. And fact.
That's our boy.
Moose flies Southwest.
Does he?
He did on that show.
Oh Lord. Do
That's
we
all I
have
got.
to?
AEW Dynamite All Out was a thing. Alex and I watched it together
Everything you expected.
after I added something new to my resume, which we'll talk about on the next show. Still trying to figure out this Matt Hardy thing.
Wolf, go in. Detail.
Did you not see it?
No, I didn't.
Matt Hardy in a final, or was it not final deletion? What was it?
Okay,
Broken rules.
Broken
match.
rules match where
Yeah.
if he had lost, he would have left
Okay.
AEW. He is on the top of a scissor lift.
Okay.
He is power bombed off the scissor lift.
It was a spear spot.
A spear spot that was
Yeah.
supposed to go through a table. Matt overshot
Overshot
it. I still contend he landed flat on his shoulder blades like he was supposed to. But if you watch it in real time, it looks like he smacked his head off the concrete.
I
So
think
he
you're
landed
right.
on the concrete.
Oh, he overshot. It was the double table
Yeah.
spot
Yeah.
where you're supposed to land in the
But
middle.
his butt
and-
was on the outside of the table.
Was
when
on the
he hit
far
ground.
table, so he
the
rolled
table
over.
broke, but he went too far. He jumped
Yeah.
too
Oh,
far.
okay.
And I think you're right that he initially hit shoulders first. I think what it was the momentum bounced his head, like what you see with some football players, where they don't necessarily land on their head, but there is
Right.
the continuation to bouncing their head.
But
on the
I
turf.
contend it's not as bad as everyone is
I
playing
agree.
it up to
Otherwise, they
be.
wouldn't even touch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Matt still, I still think Matt really sold it.
Yeah.
Continued and finished the match. Twitter lost its mind.
Mm-hmm.
Even Rebby lost her mind, but yet she was on the show this week.
Right.
So
Which
take
makes
that
me
for what you're
which
paying
makes
for
me
it.
think like she would have had a bigger
She
issue.
looked great though.
She always does.
Why do we lost our mind? Because
She always does
She
to me.
Okay.
looked better this week than I've seen her look in a long time.
You said everybody lost their minds because he got injured in real life. and he
People
could-
no because
Because
people
it looked
thought
like they shut it down,
thought
they
it was-
threw up the
right.
X.
They thought it was a legitimate injury, and the match continued.
Okay.
After about like
People really
5
thought
minutes or
that
so.
he,
He
like,
was- yeah.
like that he was truly like concussed.
Yeah.
And I mean, in my opinion, Matt sold it. Like
Okay.
I don't think, and maybe this is the cautious optimism in me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't honestly think like if it had been that bad, they would have hauled him out
Right.
against his own will. But the fact that now maybe the match didn't end like it was supposed to. It was very Shane Miz 2010, but.
The ending was what it was supposed to be. Everything in the middle
Okay.
was what cut out. So that time where there was the break in between
Yeah.
was what was scrapped.
So we still don't have an official word on the severity of it. I really hope it was a work because you just don't ever want to see something like that be legit. And again, maybe that's the cautious optimism in me. I don't know.
So how was that? How was the rest of the card though? Like the FTR match? How was
We're gonna
that?
get there.
Wait,
Okay.
but according to the company, yes, it was a missed spot that led to some uncertainty. But when there were certain things that were found to be acceptable on quick, not the diagnosis, that would be an unfair statement, but on quick review and seeing his capacities, that was when they essentially restarted as they did. And after doing a more thorough diagnosis using an MRI and a CAT scan, there was no concussion found or issue. So take that for what you will.
Not a great card overall. But we'd also been going pretty hard all day.
That one went long.
And it was a long
It might have been their longest.
Okay, so like the FTR match, how was that? How were they?
It was good.
They earned the titles.
And what about MJF? My hero.
That there were a lot of people that didn't like that match. I loved it.
My brain was so done by that point. I don't know. It could have been a great match, and I wouldn't have known.
Well, what I was sitting there was a lot of matches that were just kind of there for All Out.
Especially for every major for every pay-per-view for them as a major.
Right, but what I will say is the hard part you have is most of the people watching AEW are into what is sometimes referred to as the flippy stuff. And that was a very, 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 very great old school match, telling the story and going through the whole ordeal. Like, there was an entire segment at the beginning of just MJF outsmarting Moxley of, you're not pulling me outside the ring. Like, Moxley keep trying to brawl with him outside the ring, and he's just getting back in and be like, I don't know. You can do whatever you want. I'm in the ring. And it was really well done.
2 quick questions. How much did they charge for it? Do you know?
30, wasn't it?
30?
$39.99.
Okay, question. What was better, that or Payback? Or that or SummerSlam?
I think you're like at apples and oranges.
Okay.
Right now. That's a tough one.
If you would rewatch one, which one would you rewatch?
I'd rewatch SummerSlam.
Would you?
I'd probably rewatch SummerSlam too.
Okay.
Like it wasn't bad, but I think like what you were alluding to, Rob, was by the time we got to the stuff that was really good, like the tag match, the women's title match, the men's
women's title match was great.
But by the time we had gotten to that, it had already been 2 hours of just.
Yeah, this thing went 3.5.
And the problem was it wasn't good before that. It was a solid 2 hours of, like, I guess botch fest would be the best way to put it.
Okay.
And there were some log-on issues at the very beginning.
But
Bleacher Report, let's get that under control. The second time now.
It was just very meh getting there. And you know how when it's not engaging, it's very dull. What they should have done was, break it up. Let the tag titles open the card. Yeah. Or let the women's match open the card. Put the other title match in the middle. Now, the problem is that they really misjudged it. And I think this was actually the best evidence for what you've been saying of there needs to be an audience by the time we get to Rumble, or it's not going to work. Yep. And the Casino Battle Royal totally sold that because it was like, here's this group, and it was like, the crowd goes mild because they're sitting in seats that are in the next zip code.
Back, yeah.
And
we didn't get really what we wanted out of that, which we would get later in the week, but we'll talk about that here in a minute.
I got what I wanted out of it.
Big announcement after Dynamite this week of what Cody's going to be doing here for a while. Get ready, Don, for the Go Big show.
I saw that
on TBS. First of all, I see what you did there.
Well, did you see where they messed up when they first announced it?
That it was supposed to be after a match, and it was earlier in the card.
No.
They, at the hour and a half mark.
The social mix-up.
No, I was talking about on AEW Dynamite. They said, Cody with a big announcement after this match, and it didn't happen until at the end of the show.
Right, but the big mess-up on the social was everything that the company had put out was the big show.
Yeah.
Not the Go Big show.
The Go Big show on TBS, hosted by Bert Kreischer.
Who I love.
Love the machine. It's basically a redneck version of America's Got Talent. Mm-hmm. Here is your judges. Cody Rhodes.
Win.
Rosario Dawson.
Win.
Jennifer Nettles. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yeah. Do not know.
Singer from Sugarland.
Okay.
She did a song with John Bon Jovi a few years ago.
Cannot judge. Do not know.
And the Snoopy Dog.
Big win. And hosted by, so I hear you are the machine.
So does
Worlds colliding.
Is the Joker's Wild? Is that done then?
It's been done for a while.
Okay,
Thanks for keeping up. If only you were on a show that talked about pop culture every week.
I slept since then.
Speaking of Cody, congratulations to he and Brandy. 7-year anniversary of marriage yesterday.
Mazel tov
to those kids. Jack Evans is actually injured. A lot of people have been asking this week. Hairline fracture on his cheekbone.
Oh.
How uncomfortable. Somebody on Twitter was like, Jack Evans is not into this match. He's like, no, let me explain something to you. Talk about a hairline in your cheekbone. Oh.
So it's his zygomatic. That's
zygomatic.
So for anybody at home, that's right across here. If you push below your eye, that's your zygomatic, aka your cheekbone. Imagine having something splintered there.
I got nothing for that.
That's what.
I got nothing. I thought that was a well presented joke.
It's
zygomatic. Grease lightning? Nothing?
Oh, no, I got it.
Fair enough.
Nice joke, Rob.
So this week's AEW schedule, you might want to get a pen and a piece of paper.
Okay.
So there's going to be a 1-hour show after the NBA playoff game on Wednesday.
Oh, God.
And then Dynamite as a whole will be on Thursday.
Okay.
Multiply by pi. I have no idea what we're doing.
I think they're filling in time.
God.
Well, the
Because
NBA
everything's taped. They're just filling in time after the NBA.
Well, the NBA. I mean, yeah, the NBA finals are in. Let's be honest.
We're not to the finals yet.
They have adjusted
The playoffs. We're not to the finals
playoffs. The NBA playoffs and how they have adjusted and they cancel games and all that. There is no like really set schedule right
They
now.
haven't canceled playoff games.
They postponed them.
No, the playoffs. Once they started the bubble, the playoffs are right on schedule.
There was a 2-day in there after the
I remember
the
that.
Minnesota.
When they had
the Kenosha thing.
Right, but that didn't throw off the entire schedule.
No, it didn't.
They caught
Everything
up.
just paused for a couple
But
of
that
days.
was
and then
because the players were protesting.
and then
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Completely
But still,
and they skipped a travel day.
I saw who was it the other night that was being interviewed, and he's like, "Wait, we don't get the extra day off?" They actually made the soup.
Yeah.
Nice try by Excalibur in trying to explain why Penta changed his name.
Yeah.
Didn't quite stick to landing Excalibur, but
There was an effort.
I give you points.
You
for that.
tried.
Because he's now Penta
El
Miedo,
Cerro Miedo.
because AAA still owns his name.
Okay.
Still owns Pentagon Jr.
Yes. Eddie Kingston asking the Blade where his wife was. That was a little uncomfortable.
But that's what Eddie Kingston does is he blends that realism in there and just cuts a promo.
Kip Sabian's pants are the Take On Me video. Just want to say that. I was like, I don't know what you're saying because all I can hear is. And Don, did you see what happened this week on
What's that?
Dynamite? Who Kip Sabian's best man at his wedding
Yeah!
was? It's Miro Day! That was a hell of a promo.
Oh, yeah.
And the blonde hair not happening. Let's fix
Well,
that.
I loved the post that immediately came up. It's what? Tiki. It's who? It's Slim Miro.
And I had it ruined for me on a certain page that rhymes with the Chris Jericho Cruise page.
Yeah, but that's always going to happen if you're going to look at it. But did you see the reply from Colt Cabana on
I
that?
did not.
So, I don't know if you paid attention, but Colt Cabana took issue with the clothing choices.
You mean his Gucci Mickey Mouse pants?
His Gucci by Disney
Mickey Mouse pants?
and shirt.
What's wrong with that? Mickey Mouse
Well,
rocks.
but here's the thing.
You know what?
Colt Cabana.
I would pay good money for Don to model those pants.
I would
If
wear
Don
them.
wants to talk about those pants, I want you to look it up. Find this image for him right now.
I'm on it.
What? Okay.
But what I'm trying to say
Well,
is
he's- okay.
Colt
Let
Cabana.
him find the thing.
Colt Cabana was putting up a post with, "Wow, if you go with Colt Cabana, you save over $2,300 because his entire wardrobe was $20."
Yeah.
I will say this, that I did like his comment he did about the glass ceiling, though.
He was
He
right.
put, yeah,
Yeah.
He put,
And the brass ring.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to see the,
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I still think they should have
Phil,
done that
Phil.
on the pay-per-view and
Okay.
not on Dynamite, though.
I agree. But they already had that great zinger of snap on Twitch.
I still would have loved. Why did I not have that?
Okay, so what do you
Oh,
do?
that was last week on. That
Okay.
was during the pay-per-view we saw.
So what do you do with Miro now?
Miro's going to be the best man in his wedding.
Well,
I
after that.
think that you go right into the tag team that they were really ramping up with Jimmy Havoc before everything.
So
broke.
they're going to put him in a tag team with okay.
Let him work his way in. Okay,
Okay.
so if just for that,
Yeah.
it was Colt Cabana, Nike shoes, replaced by United Airlines for losing the others. Clearance rack pants from H&M, $20. Pro wrestling tees. And it literally just says, Ryan Barkin printed this for me for free. And then it was suit coat stolen from Excalibur, so free.
Show him these pants.
And then it was Miro's Gucci shirt for $650, his Gucci jogging pants for $1450, and his $220 Yeezys.
By the way, that's $650 for the shirt, Don.
Oh, I'm showing him. It's on there.
All right. Gucci T-shirt, $650.
The pants is what you need to focus on.
Yeah, I'm looking at them. $1,450.
For the record, they look really comfy.
I would wear those.
I thought
Mickey
they were.
rocks.
I thought they were leather pants at first, and I was like,
Oh, that would
Miro's
be...
wearing leather pants. There's something with the pants.
But it's $1,400.
Alex just finished
I
Friends,
mean,
by
that's
the
the
way.
real price.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's
For the sake of this joke, you did.
That's the real
No, I
price.
didn't.
That's the real price on Disney Online.
Yes. That is how much those
Actually,
pants
I
cost.
think you have to get them from Gucci.
Or from Gucci, whatever. It's $1,400.
And as Bruce Willis said to Damon Wayans, there's not a TV in those pants. $1,400. Okay. NXT starting out with a title match when you're head to head with
Let's
Impact.
get a GoFundMe
Really?
page.
A really good title match.
Yeah, but when you're head to head with Impact.
I think it was one of those that they were just trying to hook people in to start.
And as much as I hate to say it, and this was as I was watching it, whoever won that match, which as we know now was Finn Balor, they're going to have he's going to have a very short run.
Why do you say that?
Because the point of the NXT title is not to be established stars. The point of the NXT title is to start giving legitimacy to guys that need the push. And I'm saying it right now, Balor does not have that belt by the end of the year.
I think you're missing the point. If I'm and I'm I
I
that
get
is
the-
what it was.
I get the history behind
Well,
it. Don't
no,
get me wrong.
That's what it was. Now they're trying to push it as a third brand. Still currently up against other shows. I'm going to leave that open because we have dates that shift. But right now, people know Finn Balor. People like Finn Balor. Doesn't matter if he's heel or face. The dude is a monster.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying.
So right now, they don't care about it being the star maker.
This is not going to be a Colean run.
I don't think they may ever get to that point again. But I think this is going to be a decent run because, and I hate saying this, and I know Don's going to yelp into the microphone probably.
Please don't.
I think they're going to use him in the Lesnar gatekeeper mode with this.
What do you mean,
I don't-
Lesnar Gate?
Where he just shows every once in a while defending
Well, no,
the
I'm not
title.
even talking about him just showing up once in a while. Having a match
Yeah,
once in a
defending
while.
that belt like once a quarter. I just don't see
Yeah.
that happening, not in NXT.
Well, but I can see him defending it more than that, but the
Now-
whole aspect is going to be, you want to be the guy, you got to beat one of the original champions who's still holding it.
now, Adam Cole
Baby.
giving Finn Balor the too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned.
Well, go in. Why do you think he had that change? Okay, let me ask you this. Let's go into this. We're doing wrestling talk. Pat McAfee, what's going to go on with him now?
Nothing for a while.
There's no contract.
There's no contract, and it's football season.
So
McAfee is so... He just got a 5-day-a-week Sirius XM show
Okay.
back,
All
which
right.
means he's doing podcasts 5 days a week.
Okay.
And it's football season, so he'll probably end up doing especially some college stuff like he did last year. He has already said he's not doing the schedule he did last year because he's like, I should have... I almost died last year.
All right, so
from
Adam
exhaustion.
Cole, would you put the belt on him or who would you put
No.
the belt on? And what's this thing with
Of the 4 guys that were in that match originally, I would have put it back on on Ciampa. But the problem was with Cross getting injured, you had to do something with that belt, and they had to book on the fly.
Oh, I understand that,
because
yeah.
your champion gets injured in the match where he wins the belt.
Yeah.
So they really had to book it on the fly. And I thought booking that on the fly, especially to keep the NXT momentum moving, I thought was a good idea. But of those 4 guys, I didn't see any of them being a long-term champion. This keeps their belt legitimate. Then you can kind of look amongst your roster, guys like Bronson Reed, guys like Damian Priest, who is your current North American champion, which is their workhorse belt.
What about Grimes?
Not ready yet.
Not ready. Okay.
I'd rather see him in a tag team and go on a tag team run for a little, not maybe on a title run, but at least in a program that can help establish his character, because his character works in 1987.
But why
You know
did why did they do that change with Cole though, with him doing the too sweet and all of a sudden acting not like a jackass?
Okay, so I want you to go back to that interview he did later on where he was like, look, he's still Adam Cole.
Baby.
I'm interested to see, with the level of respect of him and Finn Balor as Prince Devitt being one of the founders, either way, of Bullet Club, Adam Cole
Baby.
being a large part of Bullet Club after he and AJ left
Okay.
with the Young Bucks. I'm going to be interested to see if this is where we get the turn on Roddy, which then brings Finn Balor, because we've been waiting for this turn on Roddy Strong.
You
forever.
have been waiting.
But we've been talking about it for a long time.
Yes, we have been talking about it. I still don't think it ever happens because Roddy needs the group. Adam Cole, your turn, does not need the group.
So do they still keep the
The Undisputed Era is going to be a thing still for a while.
All right.
All right. Well, we can hope.
With that level of merch sales.
Also that.
Tegan had a rough time keeping a straight face at the end of that bit. And I wouldn't say the cage match was great.
I really liked it.
But the cage match was better than it had to be, except for Mercedes Martinez missing that neck breaker by 1.5 miles.
I saw that, but it didn't even bother me that much. I honestly thought the match was great. This is one of those few times I 100% agree with Jim Cornette's take on something, because his same exact spot, and I believe somebody on this show, probably me, has been saying for years that Rhea Ripley is right on the verge of being the best women's performer on the planet. And I've been saying it for 3 years.
Oh, she's great.
And she proved it in that match. She 100% did it. And the one thing that Cornette said, this 100% needs to be a run for her getting back at Charlotte.
When
and
Charlotte
getting
gets
her
back.
And getting her win back at Mania.
I agree, 100%.
But they've been keeping her, shelving her.
She's been keeping herself shelved.
On
You talking about Charlotte, or you're talking about Rhea Ripley?
Ripley.
Oh.
What they've done with her in the last since WrestleMania has been pathetic.
Well, but
they haven't had
with
anything else to
Charlotte
do.
going out,
I understand.
that kind of put an abrupt end to that angle, which I think could have gone longer. And I think they're, like Alex said, I think they're just kind of biding time for the return of Charlotte to pick that angle.
I know,
back
but they
up.
could have put the belt back on her in a heartbeat and had her as the champion.
I hear what you're saying, but Io Shirai is the smart move right now.
But this is another one of those examples, and it's the Jake the Snake principle that we have talked about on numerous occasions. Rhea Ripley doesn't need the belt. She's already awesome.
Yeah.
Io Shirai, love her to death, great performer, not strong with the English. The belt legitimizes her without many words.
NXT UK announcement this week. The Heritage Cup is happening. We talked a few weeks ago on this show about them filing for copyrights on that. It will also have a title belt. There will be a belt.
It may not be a belt. They're saying there will be a championship.
Last thing I heard is there will be a belt.
That hasn't been finalized because there's a possibility that it is going to actually be a cup.
So here's the thing. 6 3-minute rounds.
It's please go.
With a 20-second break between rounds. In those rounds, it will be 2 out of 3 falls, or a DQ or a knockout instantly ends the match. If it goes all 6 rounds, the leader, whoever's leading by points, wins the match. Flash Webster, Noam Dar, Alexander Wolf, A-Kid, Dave Mastiff, Joseph Connors, Trent Seven, and they have not named the final contestant yet.
I'm surprised Trent Seven's on that list.
Me too. Now, there was supposed to be a second announcement from the NXT UK because they come back they come back not live, but they come back this week.
On
But
the
I
17th.
missed the second announcement. I don't know.
I didn't catch it either.
Allegedly, it was supposed to be Kylie Ray's next opponent, but I didn't catch it. SmackDown. Mandy Rose has... Go ahead.
You know who I think that the mystery in that is? Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate.
We'll see. Mandy Rose has been traded to Raw. She claims The Miz forced the trade.
That was a really great job by her
like
selling on social media. I really enjoyed that. But why do this? Unless Street Profits are about to lose the tag titles and then Otis cashes in. Guess what? I can't even remember what they're called now. Heavy Machinery winds up on Raw too.
But it also could be with Retribution doing a lot of work with Raw. That could be... Remember we talked about Sonya Deville coming back.
Which I would love her to be the ringleader of this, but...
Respect to Jeff Hardy for the face paint.
You see that news.
Well, let's get to it.
I'm just checking.
Especially since that aired on 9/11. But his collapse seemed unnecessary given what happened at All Out.
Also true.
That was a not...
What do you mean the face paint? What?
Yeah, half of his face paint was red, white, and blue. It was like the American flag.
Okay. All right.
Which I thought was really cool. What news about him?
About what his next program he wants is?
Yes, he wants to bring back his TNA character to take on The Fiend.
He wants to bring back
Irma?
Willow the Wisp.
Take
I
on.
need my board.
Oh Lord.
Let's see. For those of you that did not know, the security guards that came out, those were Devon's twin sons.
Nice. I thought they looked familiar, but I couldn't. And they are doing some great work on the indies. I don't know if you've caught any of their stuff on YouTube.
I've been hearing good things.
I believe they're twins, right?
They did announce, yes, I said his twin sons.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that.
Thanks for paying attention.
I heard sons.
But if I have to do it to Don, I have to do
No,
it to you too.
and I understand that. I'm just clarifying.
So tomorrow night's Raw has a theme. I swear, if I go 3 hours of Raw and I don't at least one time, And I think it's going to be the Street Profits. If I don't hear, yes, indie face, I'm going to be really angry. Because tomorrow night, Don, Raw in Your Face. That's the name of the show tomorrow night.
Okay.
If I don't get that, I just one time.
Who would it be besides the Street Profits? I don't want an answer to this.
Byron Saxton. I want Byron Saxton to stand up at the announcement, and then LA will have to finally accept the greatness of former Gator great Byron Saxton.
You obviously don't understand that LA doesn't live in a world of fact,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to get Paul Heyman to say it.
Wrong show.
Yeah, he's on SmackDown now. But but I want this. WWE, I know somebody's watching. We've been saying it for years.
But
I want Byron Saxton to do this.
I want to give credit where credit's due. And I don't know if it was just Uso going on his own or whatever, talking about Heyman being part of the family for as long as he is. Do you know why that's funny? Heyman had his father as a tag team back in the 80s and was the manager for them.
Well,
so he's known Uso since he was little Us.
I want to get to that here in a minute.
Okay. Because we're going to bash on it, but I want to give credit where it's due.
Alexa Bliss, thank you for helping me.
Yeah, right.
Smartest man alive.
See,
What?
the problem is you're cherry picking this one.
What?
He's cherry picking that she is Sister Abigail.
Yep, because she did the Sister Abigail on Nikki Cross in the match.
Which she did. That doesn't make her Sister Abigail.
I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
I thought they
understand.
already showed Sister Abigail 2 years ago on that one thing.
No, that was Bray Wyatt in a wig.
It was.
But it was still Sister Abigail. It wasn't Alexa Bliss.
Well, technically,
It was
they've-
Bray Wyatt in a wig,
But
Don.
that was still Sister Abigail when it came down to it. They revealed it.
Can we not?
If
Can we
he
not
was-
keep talking
okay.
about this? They may think we want to see it again.
Okay. True.
Because I said she was Sister Abigail, but she had been brainwashed.
You went full territory on it.
Thanks for being on the show, Don.
Okay.
Do you
And
want,
I
do you
will
want me to
say-
pick it up? Or okay,
I will say that it was not until that match, and it was Corey Graves was the first one to say Gold Rush.
yeah.
If we're going to have a subtitle, you need to use it every time. Especially since you didn't announce the subtitle until it showed up on the screen Monday night. I was really hoping Tamina won that match, though.
Anybody but Nikki. I love Nikki Cross.
But let me tell you why.
Oh.
Let me tell you why. I want a Samoan conspiracy so bad where you've got the Usos and her and Roman and Nia and get them all together in a Heyman-led, like you said, Heyman was his dad's manager, and you just bring this family together, which we've talked about before.
So you have seen the leaked graphic then?
I have not seen any leaked graphics.
you
But
want
that's
me to
why I
say
wanted
it?
Tamina to win that match, so she goes and wins the title.
Do you want me to say it?
Please.
It is Heyman in front of the Usos and Roman.
Okay, I have seen that.
Okay, but there is apparently some stuff. Somebody photoshopped a better version, but there was a leaked graphic a la the FTR and the big chain and everything that goes along with it. And what they're trying to get ahead of is one of the big things on the indie scene, and I don't know if you've seen this, is the Samoan dynasty that has, Rikishi leading all of the cousins and nephews and everything, led in ring by Jacob Fatu, who, God, I wish he was on another brand. I love MLW, but I wish I could see Jacob Fatu more often.
He's great. Yeah. And the biggest title belt I've ever seen.
So why are they doing cousin versus cousin on this upcoming?
Because they can?
Because it's an easy story to tell while they, tread water.
So are they going to screw him over? Then all of a sudden he joins them after he loses.
Actually, you know what I would love to see happen? Because now
How's he gonna join him when
since I mentioned Nia,
Please don't.
here's what I want to see.
Okay.
Because I don't know, this may have only been done no more than a handful of times in the history of the business. You have a match where you have 8 ladies in the match in women's division from all 3 brands. Well, let's say 9 to make it 3 from each.
That makes sense.
Tag team titles on the line. However, it's the final 2 standing are your tag team champions. So it's like a lethal lottery.
I was about to say you're going back to the lethal lottery.
But it's not, because you're not picking a team.
Right.
It is a singles match, an 8-way match. Final 2 people left in the match are your tag
So it's
champions.
eliminations.
So elimination. It gets down. Nia helps Tamina beat Shayna Baszler, and now they're your women tag champs.
That would be a great story. And you know why it won't happen?
Because it's awesome.
Exactly.
Okay. By the way, 205 Live, something happened Friday night. I was watching SmackDown on delay because I work late, and it wasn't on the network. There was just it said 205 Live, 9 o'clock, and it was already 9:30, and the R-Truth show was on, and it was just a black background with the WWE logo, and I couldn't click on it, and it wasn't on the 205 Live page.
Weird.
So I didn't get to watch 205 Live, but what I do know is Tahuti Miles is now Ashante the Adonis, Thee. So adjust your scorecards accordingly.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep.
Yeah. Okay. ROH was back this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
ROH
My buddy.
had wrestling this week.
My hero.
The Pure Championship. Interestingly, the same week that NXT announces something kind of sort of like that for NXT UK. Jay Lethal did defeat Dalton Castle.
I know.
Because obvious things are obvious.
Jonathan Gresham defeated Wheeler Yuta, who
Why
is
was that
somebody I
obvious?
think you are familiar with. Because they mentioned something about Wheeler Yuta that made me go, oh, I wonder how much Alex knows.
I don't know.
He was once a member of Catchpoint. And
Really?
They talked all about him being trained by Drew Gulak. And
I wonder if it was part of the...
Rigatoni said he was part of Catchpoint.
I'll have to go back and look at it because I don't remember him in Catchpoint. I wonder if he was more of a young lion around Catchpoint.
So how was the obvious Dalton losing?
Because it's the Pure Championship and Jay Lethal books himself at this point.
He's right.
Okay, because like,
And I'm still not sure.
Dalton's more the Greco background.
Yeah, but I'm still
Well, no,
not sure.
you're
that
using
Castle's-
realism,
Never
and Jay
mind.
Lethal books himself,
But-
especially since you technically don't have a head booker right now.
And plus, I'm not sure Dalton's 100% yet.
I want to believe that
I mean,
he's at least
he
close.
moved well in that match, but I'm still concerned for him. And I still think your final's going to be him and Gresham, which I
Yeah.
don't agree with because there's some great guys in this tournament.
Actually, I want to say, didn't the brackets have them facing off before the finals?
No.
Because Lethal said in his promo that he was prepared for it to be him and Gresham at the end.
Then it will be.
But I liked the concept of the Pure tournament. I like that they didn't try to change the belt, that it's still the belt from back in the day. I like how they told the story. ROH does Empty Arena better than Impact does.
Low bar.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
MLW, for those of you that have Fubo Sports, that'll be on Wednesday nights. That was announced this week as well. Anything I'm missing this week, gentlemen?
I don't have anything.
Don.
Todd Sinclair was on. The ROH.
Yeah,
rep.
the Groat was there.
Yeah,
The Groat was there.
I was happy to see him. But
We like him a lot. We're big fans of the Groat. We'd love to have him on the show.
But it's good to see Dalton Castle. I'm glad that ROH is back doing their stuff. And again, I'm saying this right now. Unfortunately, I have to fast forward through a lot of like the W because of that pumped in crowd noise. Please stop it so I can actually watch.
You haven't been watching football today, then, haven't you?
No.
And they're
We'll
doing the
talk.
same
We'll
thing.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it because we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Before we take the break. Next week, we'll be back at our normal time, but 2 weeks from tonight, Clash of the Champions Gold Rush. I'm going to say it like that from now on. Will be our next watch along.
I really thought you were going to go a different way on that.
We want to thank everybody that tuned in for that. It was a lot of fun. We're going to do it again. We're going to have a different guest star this time. We might have multiple guest stars because there are rumors swirling currently that Studio B could be ready for Clash of the Champions Gold Rush. So I'm very excited about that. I had a blast. Don, were you able to keep up with everything?
Some of you saw me text in and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what'd you think? From
It was
yourself?
good. I liked it. If we
So
could get
we're
that
looking
thing
forward
packed.
to that. 2 weeks from tonight.
See, and I really thought you were going to go a different. Now entering to the stage at the Gold Rush.
So, question:
You've been in Vegas.
So you did get my text during the thing, right?
Yeah.
And did you just bring that in on the thing? I didn't see that moment on there.
I remember
I
you
talked
texting
about
me.
Sasha Banks' how she had like one with the net.
No, I mentioned it right after you.
Oh,
right after
did
you.
you?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I said Don just texted in. Is what he said.
Right,
Yeah.
and what I was trying to say was like I couldn't tell if it was the lighting or not, and then you corrected it for us.
Yeah, it's
But
like,
yeah, and-
why did she have netting on one side of the leg and the other one net?
I don't know.
It's probably they're both netting. It's just different coloration.
But
Well,
and thanks to Vocal for letting us do that. That was awesome. We're looking forward to doing it again here in 2 weeks. But next week we'll be on at our normal time. Make sure you join us each and every week. Make sure you follow us on social media. Everything is the Cheap Popcast, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, all of the things. We still have the cheappopcast.com coming very, very soon. And buy t-shirts, buy t-shirts, buy t-shirts.
I am Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out the show, go to Pro Wrestling Tees and search The Cheap Popcast. Or you could follow the URL that Don is going to give you.
Which is prowrestlingtees.com/thecheappopcast. And on Twitter, I'm at Igbudu. Ding, 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 ding. IGBUNUUU. I did it all without screwing up. This is a first.
Quick note before we go off the air. Wheeler, Utah, trained by Catchpoint, not part of Catchpoint.
Okay, so they had that wrong. You can follow me on social media if you would like. Everything is that Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN. Also, if you have questions, comments, concerns, want us to talk about a local promotion that we can get access to for you. If you have friends in the industry that you would like to be part of the show, we can put them on a Google Hangout. We have the technology. It is rob@thecheappopcast.com. We almost forgot to say hello to host of Big 12 Talk. And I think he got at least 2 out of 3 matches he picked out in the hallway. Yeah. Our engineer, Jay Gillespie. Jay, how's it going?
It's going well, man. Thank you for bringing me in as that.
You're going to be in on everything in 2 weeks.
I was close on those matches
because we're gonna change up the way we do it for the next one. I've got a couple of things I want to try that I think are going to make things a little bit easier on us. So next week, 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. Join us. Your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling is right here on the Vocal Now Network with the Cheap Popcast. I screwed it up this week. I don't care because I pitched a perfect game. So until next time, for Alex, for Don, for Jay, for the Empire, I'm Rob. This has been the Cheap Popcast. Good night, everybody.